Welcome to the Guadalupe Mountains in southeastern New Mexico. This is part of the Lincoln National Forest. The Guadalupe Mountains stretch across southeastern New Mexico and West Texas, forming one of the most geological and culturally rich landscapes in the Southwest. Today we traveled up through Carlsbad and then headed out of Carlsbad toward Artesia a few miles and then hooked a left, went about 30 miles to get back up into the Guadalupe Mountains. We actually end up not too far behind Carlsbad Caverns. The Guadalupe Mountains actually have the highest point in Texas, Guadalupe Peak, at 8,751 feet. The tallest point in Texas, the crown jewel of this range of mountains. They're called the Guadalupe Mountains because when the Spaniards came through here, they named this after Our Lady of the Guadalupe. And we're headed down into Turkey Canyon today, called Turkey Canyon because there are wild turkeys in that area. Although most reports say they're rare and they're hard to find. Although, when I came here about 5 years ago with a buddy, we saw a good-sized group of them and followed them for a while and had a number of pictures, but I could not find the pictures for this video at this time. The Guadalupe Mountains basically are a world-renowned ancient fossil reef. All of this was covered by water for many, many years. And the mountains preserve the world's most extensive Permian fossil reef. This is a limestone reef from a shallow sea millions of years ago. Fossils of marine organisms are visible in the rock layers. Even as you walk through them, you can see them. Paleontologists study the reef rocks for fossils of ancient reef-dwelling creatures, and this offers them a window into a life during the Permian period. As we travel through it on the side-by-side, we will go from rock terrain that really is fairly rough, although never anything real technical on this drive, and then nice red dirt roads. So very interesting. It's about 80 degrees today. Beautiful day. The skies just really make the picture so much prettier. And as we're traveling down here, don't get so involved in watching the trail that you miss all of the scenery on the side and the rock walls. It's just a gorgeous place, but it's a very rough gorgeous. Archaeological evidence shows that humans lived here over 10,000 years ago as hunter-gatherers. The Mescalero Apache people used the area for hunting and harvesting agave, leaving behind roasting pits and other artifacts. But the Spanish explorers arrived in the 1500s, and there were lots of battles then between the Spaniards and the Indians. The Spaniards introduced horses to the region, and nomadic Apache tribes quickly adopted them for mobility and for hunting. Besides all the vegetation in this area, there also is quite a bit of game life. There are turkeys here, which are rare, but we have found them. They also have foxes and they have snakes, so you need to be careful about those. There are mule deer and javelinas, which I have seen all of those here. Also in this area, there are the Barbary sheep, which is an exotic species from North Africa that was brought over here in the 1940s. And now they've been hunted almost to extinction everywhere else they've been. So they're now found primarily in southeastern New Mexico. We managed to drive by and see this century plant in full bloom. They call it a century plant because legend says they only bloom once every 100 years. That's not accurate. They live between 10 and 30 years, and they send up this beautiful flowering shoot right at the end of their life cycle. So it grows up, and it grows very fast, sometimes as much as a foot a day. And then it will seed out and the plant dies. It is also part of the agave plant family, which, if you're not familiar with, is what tequila is made from. The Guadeloupe is a very diverse ecosystem. The range spans from desert to alpine forest to grasslands and riparian areas, supporting over 900 plant species, including agave, yucca, ponderosa pine, and many different forms of cacti. The area has had a lot of conflict over the years between the Indians and the Spaniards, and that is actually where the term Buffalo Warriors came about. The Indians named the Spaniards Buffalo Warriors because the hair of the Spaniards was black and curly like the buffalo. And later there were various battles and gunfights for the land. This was a very wild, unprotected area. There's a book out that I've been trying to get a copy of, but it's out of print now, called The Ghost of the Guadelupes, and I've looked for it for years. And the only ones I've been able to find, their owners wouldn't let go of them. So if you happen to know of a copy of one of those that I can pick up reasonable, be sure and let me know in the comments, please. As we come to the end of this day's drive, I hope you've enjoyed it and you've seen a lot of the country that is really beautiful but very rugged. And please, if you want to see some of the other journeys as we continue on exploring New Mexico and the surrounding states, just follow us, give us a like, subscribe, whatever the case may be, and we'll enjoy it. So have a great day. Thank you.